The Disc Golf Pro Tour is back and ready to start the season with a lot of extras and quite the bang. Let's talk about it. Welcome in everyone to Understable Discourse. We are back. The season is here and it's time to dive in, just like we've been waiting for, back into tournament analysis and previews. And we're here to do that today for the Supreme Flight Open going down this weekend in Florida. And I'm super excited because today's a very special episode as well. If you look back at the history of Understable Discourse, you'll know that tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of the very first episode we ever put out here at Understable Discourse. And boy, looking back on that one, you know, I think I had the camera way down below looking up at me. The audio sucked. The lighting was terrible. I'd hope to think that we improved in a lot of things since then, but we're still improving each and every day. But this is episode 72. We've done 72 long-form episodes since that one, and I'm proud to say that we have never, ever missed a week and had no long-form episodes that week. We also launched short-form content that comes out daily, and it's been a wild journey, and we were really, really close to hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark, which I'd be so proud to be able to do. But I'm proud of the work that's gone into this. We're growing it each and every week, it feels like, and we're taking this to new heights in 2026 and beyond, and I'm so thankful to have all of you along the journey with me. But today we're going to be talking about the Supreme Flight Open. We're going to be looking at the course. We're going to be looking at the field, make some predictions about things, some other events going on there as well. We have a lot to get into. So one of the things I want to make sure that you're aware of is that, like I said before, I put out daily content that lets you know what's going on in disc golf every single day. It's called the Hot Round, and if you want a place to go get your tournament recaps and your round recaps to know what went down during the most recent rounds, that's where you want to go. And we're going to be slightly delaying those a little bit each day to make sure that we capture the results of the day, because I want you to know what's happening so you're on the up and up. If you couldn't catch the round that day, I want you to know what went down. So make sure to tune into those. Super important that you do so. But enough about all that. Let's dive in to the actual event. So this is the third year on tour for Olympus, and not hasn't always been the Supreme Flight Open. It started off as the Chess.com Open, which we still see the ripple effects with chess pieces throughout the course. But the Supreme Flight Open, third year on tour as the starter for the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and honestly, really incredible course designed by Paul McBeth. Property is owned by Paul McBeth and Dylan Cease, and currently managed by Kevin Kiefer and his crew. I know that Nick Carl was a part of it for a long time as well. But Olympus is one of the most difficult courses that we have on tour. That's not a me saying it, that is pros saying it as well, including Paul himself, which a couple nights ago on Tour Life, funny enough, McBeth did say that this year the course is playing, in his estimation, 2 to 3 strokes harder than in previous years. And that is, well, that's interesting, because last year between MPO and FPO, there were only 6 total rounds shooting double digits or better under par. And normally when you go to most tournaments, it is way more than 6. People light the courses up. So are we going to get less than that this year? It's gonna be kind of wild, I think. One of the key features about Olympus that adds a lot to the difficulty is the severe elevation changes going from hole to hole, forcing players to navigate not only distance challenges but like verticality challenges as they throw up and down and have to control their shots in ways that I think this course just challenges every facet of players' games, which is kind of odd for Florida courses to think about like elevation change. But this one, Olympus, is set on an old limestone quarry property, so a lot of elevation to be spoken about. And and one of the early opinions that we're seeing from a lot of the pros who've been on the property so far, the tee areas, the tee pads, everything is looking so much better than ever before. I think we're primed for an incredible event. When we look at the layout, we look at the layout for this year, we're seeing that some of the changes have been made for the MPO and the FPO in the form of new holes or new hole designs. In fact, we have quite a few of them. Most notably, you can see a big change for FPO as the course has gotten about 740 feet shorter for the FPO field. And one other big notable thing that was mentioned from Kevin Kiefer in Ezra Aderhold and Goose's videos, as well as Paul on Tour Life, saying that this year they really tried to cut down on blind shots. Not necessarily shots that are blind for the players, because they're gonna have to always throw around stuff. That happens. But they're trying to get rid of shots where players have to throw and you have to listen in to hear what happened to the disc, because according to them, these shots just aren't entertaining for fans. It's hard for people to be able to follow what's happening, and pace of play issues as well. So they tried to correct a lot of that this year with their course changes and add some things that might, pop off with some viral moments. So we'll get into that here in a moment. But when we look at the actual changes for the course, let's dive into the holes themselves. Hole 3 is where we first start here, with the hole getting moved about 100 feet closer for the FPO field, but still remains a par 4, making it much more scoreable for them. And hole 4 getting the same kind of treatment, bringing the basket over 100 feet closer to the tee pad, while actually seeing the MPO move a little bit further away. So hole 3 and 4 getting a nice kind of easier start for the FPO group. Hole 5 is the first big change for the MPO side of thing, where they push the basket back and change the hole from a par 3 to a par 4. I think this is a good change, adding a bit more variety and difficulty and just kind of pushing the envelope with the MPO field. Hole 6 is a brand new hole for both divisions. It's 320 feet, picturesque downhill ace run. They've got hay bales in front, so you can't just slide up to the basket. They're just asking people to ace this hole to get a big viral moment to put out there on the internet. I believe this was, as Ezra said, this was the ESPN top 10 hole, trying to get people on Sports Center for getting the ace. And honestly, I think it's a great addition to the course to have something like this that just adds a bit more, is this going to be probably one of the easier holes for a lot of players? Sure. But it sets up a lot of great moments for fans, probably has some great spectating as fans can gather around the hole and watch shots come down. Probably a great spot to kind of perch up as a fan and just watch all the cards come throughout the day. And, I think we're going to see probably at least one ace on this hole. That's what I think. Hole 8 is another big change. We see the removal of a large OB area off to the right. I don't think it was going to be coming into play a lot last year, but it definitely opens up the hole a bit. Hole 11, we see changes with the addition of an OB area off to the left, penalizing bad shots that kind of get sawed off early. And Ezra and Goose talk about this hole being one of the bigger changes because it doesn't really affect the tee shot, but it greatly affects the upshot, kind of forcing players through an alternative gap and giving them different decisions to make from where their landing area is. So I like that. And the last hole that really has any kind of sizable change to it is hole 17, which is where we see the FPO, who had a 441-foot par 4 in previous years. They just absolutely chopped the hole down into a 175-foot par 3 for the FPO field. So I think that's going to improve overall pace of play, scoreability on the penultimate hole of the course. And when we look at the scores of previous years, I suppose that makes a lot of sense for them because hole 16 was the hole 17 was the second hardest hole for the FPO field, coming in at 0.71 strokes over par. So doing this, I think, helps speed up play, and we'll see. They left hole 16 for FPO, which was the hardest on the course, but we'll see what happens. For the MPO field, they left the most difficult holes alone with hole 16 and hole 4. For the most part, left them alone. Maybe some subtle nuance changes to the distances and stuff. And they left the easiest hole 15, as is. So I think that hole is going to still be dominated by the field. The course feels like it's definitely going to be harder. I think it's going to be easier for the FPO, so we should see maybe a couple more FPO rounds pop off. But MPO, we're going to see, I think, was 29 under par, won last year. I'll be impressed if someone reaches 30 under par. But the field continues to get better each and every year, so I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. But I think we could see another like 25 to 30 in that range under par being the winning score for the event. Because I think Paul on Tour Life said that 8 down, if you could do 8 down all 3 rounds, that in his mind that could be enough to win the event. So we'll see. But speaking of winning, let's take a moment and talk through some predictions for the event, because when you look at this course and everything it kind of throws at players, we're looking for players that have a good combination of both distance and accuracy. Super duper important. Additionally, you've got to have the ability to scramble effectively to get up and down for par saves on the course. If we look at what Ezra Robinson did last year, there were big moments when he was kind of off the beaten path and he had to save himself, get up and down. Sometimes he even got up and down for birdie, which is pretty impressive. But scrambling being an important skill. I know the scramble stat is a tricky one for everyone to kind of comprehend, and there are a lot of shots that don't really qualify as scrambles, but you got to be able to do that at Olympus. It's one of the more important courses on tour where scramble comes into play. If you remember, I did a stat significance study this off season where I looked at all the courses and I looked at every single player who came in the top 10, top 3, and first place from each statistical category to see where was which stat did you have to dominate to have the best likelihood of performing well at an event. For instance, I would look at the top 10 finishers in C1X putting, and I would notate where each of them finished in the event, and then that would give me an average finishing position for those players. And I was shocked to find that putting, while important, obviously, the difference between the best putters and the putters who don't putt quite as well wasn't quite as dramatic as you'd think, as being in the top 10 best C1X performers for the event, the average finish place was like 50th. It was not that impressive. So the most important stats that we saw from Olympus, for every event, the most important stats were birdie rate and the bogey plus rate, keeping those low and the birdie rate high. Most important stats across the board. That's a no-brainer for scoring, obviously. But for all the other stats, like the skill-based stats of what happens with your throws and everything, the most important statistic for Olympus came out to be C2 in regulation. And that makes perfect sense considering how difficult the course is, because pars on Olympus, it's one of the only courses on tour where pars aren't really a bad thing. There are a lot of courses where taking a par feels like a bogey because the rest of the field is bound to birdie that hole. Olympus is not one of those. Pars can be very, very effective. So being C2 in regulation, the average rank for C2 in regulation for the top 10 finishers was 7.6th place. So if you finish in the top 10 best C2 in regulation performers, you were finishing in 7.6th place on average, which is pretty incredible. The second most important stats were C1 in regulation and scramble at 15.3. In fact, when you look at C2 in regulation, Olympus was the fourth on tour when it comes to significance for the C2 in regulation statistic, just showcasing the difficulty of Olympus and the importance of being able to be in play in regulation to put yourself in position to succeed. Which the funny thing is, you'd think that C2 in regulation being the most significant stat, that C2 putting would be also extremely significant. Turns out not as significant as you might think. So essentially what these things are telling us is that consistency is key. Keeping it in play is super important, and we need to look at the fact also this is the first event of the season, so a lot of players are kind of shaking off their rust. We also don't really have completely full fields. A lot of European players are not there. That's very present in the FPO division, because even last year they still had Evelina, they still had Silva, not here this year. So that's a pretty significant thing. In fact, there's only really a few European players in the field as a whole. So diving into my actual predictions for the event. Looking at MPO, we're going to start with MPO. Coming in third place for me is going to be Calvin Heimberg. When it comes to Florida-style golf, Calvin is top tier. in that style of play. He's super great when it comes to dealing with low ceilings and tight gaps. And while he was 11 strokes off the leader last year, I think that he is just going to have a solid event here and make a splash to start the season. I feel really great about Calvin Heimberg being on the podium to start the year off. My second place finisher, I don't believe that home field advantage is really a thing in disc golf because players are just too talented for that. Plus, you could argue that Paul McBeth doesn't spend every day on this course playing, but I have Paul McBeth coming in second place here. Paul just seems to excel when it comes to this property whenever he plays here. He said on Tour Life that he is feeling much better than he felt last year, which is pretty impressive considering last year he still finished in third place. So he's feeling much better than that. Plus, I think he has everything to gain with a great performance here. There's a lot of pride related to whether or not he performs well at this course. I think he is also looking ahead to the season, knowing there's going to be a gap where he's not going to be playing as much because of the birth of his next child, which is fantastic. So he wants to come out, be dominant, win early and often. So I've got Paul coming in second place. And my first place finisher for this event, I'm going to go with the hot hand here. And I'm going to say Anthony Barella takes this one down. When you look at previous years on this particular track, he got first place at the Chess.com Open, second place last year at the Supreme Flight Open. And, he's just... When you do a look at the statistics backwards to see, and I'll dive into this deeper. I know Edwin Stats provided some really cool statistics for the Tour Life group, and I would love to showcase some of those this year here on my channel because he puts in a ton of work for this. But he looked at players in terms of their starts during the year, how hot they start compared to how they finish. Anthony Barella is like one of, if not the top player when it comes to super duper hot starts, very flat finishes. So I think AB's going to come out of the gate swinging this year. I know he's talked a lot about how this is an event that he always would love to win and be, just perform well at. So I got AB taking this one down. And we're going to get a good preview of this because all three of those guys, AB, Paul, Calvin, they are all on the feature card to start the event off with Ezra Robinson. But I'll address my notable snubs here. I snubbed Ezra Robinson. Yes, he won this event last year. Yes, he's a talented player. I don't think his game is as sharp right now in this moment as it may have been last year. Last year he went down to the Tour Down Under, played, really got himself, I think, prepared. This offseason, we haven't heard as much from him. I think he's a phenomenal player. I think he can play the course super duper well. I just don't have him winning the event. I don't have him coming in the top 3 this particular weekend. Top 10 for sure. I'll put him in my top 10, but I don't have him in my top 3. Next up, Ricky Wysocki. Listen, folks, I gotta see more from Ricky. Yes, is he a perennial talent? Yes, is he fantastic? Pretty much everywhere he goes, yes. Has he pushed the envelope at this event before? 100% he has. I want to see Ricky do something before I put him in my top 3 this season. So Ricky is probably going to be a top 5 finisher. Top 3, I don't know. Just if I had to put money on it, I'm not putting him in my top 3. And then obviously Gannon Buhr, right? Any event where you don't put Gannon Buhr in your top 3, you kind of have to answer for why. Gannon himself said that he wouldn't put himself winning this event because he's a slow starter. Obviously, that's a little bit of, comedy from him. Does he have the capability of winning this event? Gannon can win any event that he sets foot on the course. Let's all be honest. Any event that Gannon steps foot on the tee pad, he is capable of winning. I don't think it's going to be this event. I don't think he's going to finish the podium. I think he's going to come out, have a great start, top 10 finish. It's probably going to be his worst finish of the year. Like, he's probably going to get 8th. Worst finish of the entire year for him. So, but that's my picks for the MPO field. Over on the FPO side, we have to look at the fact that we have no Silva, have no Evelina. So we're taking their names out of the field, which really limits the number of players that I think can be competitively viable here at Supreme Flight, even with the changes to the course. So coming in third place, I'm gonna hit you with one you're probably not expecting. Annika Sten. I think that her power and consistency are going to come in clutch here at Olympus. I don't have a ton of confidence for a big portion of the field. So I could see her coming out, and she's primed to set herself up as someone to be a threat this season, another threat from across the pond, and this could be the event where that starts for her. Coming in second place for me, for a lot of the same reasons, Valerie Mandujano. She had a great kind of season last year, reminding us like how talented she is, that she can really play solid disc golf. She performed really well at Northwood Black. So taking on a difficult, challenging course is not something that she is incapable of doing. I could see her having a great start to the season here. I'm putting her in second place, and winning the event is the only player I think who has the combination of consistency, power, everything. That's Holland Handley. I think I think it's her event to lose, and I know I've been burned a lot. We've all been burned a lot by saying multiple times last year that this is her event to lose, her event to win, whatever you want to call it, and then she doesn't really step through the door. So we'll see. I mean, I think it's her time to do it. I think that she can definitely accomplish this. It's a great way to kind of start the year off. And I don't think the course suits a lot of her biggest competitors. Holland's biggest competitors are people in my snubbed category. When we think about players like Missy Gannon, incredibly talented, extremely consistent, not a lot of power to compete at the same level at this course. Owen Scoggins, one of the best players on the planet in the FPO division, not a lot of power to compete at this particular course. And then Ella Hansen has all the power. I'm scared of the consistency. Yes, she won last year. Yes, I'm snubbing both winners last year out of my podiums for this year. I don't have. She's the kind of player that when she does well, it's surprising. She doesn't have the same level of confidence in my mind as some of these other players. I can't knowingly put her in my top 3, and if she goes out and wins again, I'll be super happy for her. I just can't put Ella in my top 3 for this event. So I've got Holland Handley winning. Those are my snubs. What do you all think? Who are your top 3 in MPO and FPO? Did I get this wrong? Shoot holes in all my theories in the comments. I'd love to hear it and start, some interaction there, and see what's up. If you put down your 3 MPO and 3 FPO in there and you knock it out of the park, I'll make sure to shout you out next episode. I'll make sure to let everyone know that you're the person to watch. I'm also looking at possibly setting up some kind of a league within Hold My Bag for upcoming events where we can all maybe compete against each other. Let me know if you're interested in that kind of thing. I would love to have some fun with that this season with all of the viewers. But while you're down there, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Support the growth of our channel. I greatly appreciate it. I'd love to continue doing this all the time for you guys, and by subscribing, you're supporting me. Love it. For the event itself, let's zoom out a little bit to sort of wrap this whole thing up. This event's a big one for the Disc Golf Pro Tour. There are a lot of moving parts here. Things that have been happening this week are things like the Pro-Am going on. First time, getting involved with that a whole lot. You've got the Play with the Champs that happened this week. I think that might be happening today, actually. Like this morning it happened. We're going to have our first ever Powerball Ace going down, so let's see how hype up that's going to be. We've got the expose on CBS Sports happening tonight at 6 p.m. on last year's Supreme Flight. Hoping that draws some people and their attention to the sport. You've got the new launch of Intelitix happening at this event. If you don't know what that is, that's the RFID technology that's going to be going on with everyone's badges. So spectators on course are going to have their badge they get for getting in, and it's going to be equipped with Intelitix RFID technology as a way of making basically quick and speedy payment for things. So you walk up to a food vendor and you want to pay for something, boom, you tap your badge, all taken care of, because your wallet payments, everything are loaded up there, ready to go for you. It's supposed to improve overall spectator experience and enhance security, because now it's like, hey, they're hoping to cut down on people who are getting into the VIP areas who aren't VIPs. That's pretty important. I've been to events where like people don't have VIP badges and they're just in the VIP area. So it's like, what's the point of even purchasing VIP? So I'm curious to see how well that all goes. But my personal thoughts across this event, the start of the season, I'm stoked to see the return of the Pro Tour. I'm really excited to see Olympus continue to grow. Paul was saying that he wants this to be a staple event on tour for many years to come, whether that's the first event of the tour or a couple events in. I can't wait to see this course continue to develop. It looks better than ever. I cannot wait to watch some live disc golf, and especially now that I get to work in disc golf in my real life. I'm working for a disc golf shop, doing social media for them and running streams for them, and I'm running streams of my own. So I get to just enjoy disc golf more than ever. And I hope that you're also excited for this event. So I'm going to leave you with my question of the day, which is going to be, what player do you have who is going to be breaking out at this event? Who are we going to be talking about on Monday that we had no idea, we never saw coming? Let me know in the comments down below. While you're down there, make sure to like the video, subscribe, help support the growth of this channel. I appreciate every single one of you who watch this stuff. I read all of your comments with smiles on my faces, even the stuff that's critiques, because I love engaging with the audience. So I will be engaging with all of you down in the comments. I hope to see you there. But until next time, this has been Understable Discourse. We've been doing it for a whole year now, folks. We're going into season 2. I'm so excited. Make sure you go watch some disc golf this weekend. And if you're not doing that, at least go play some disc golf. I'll see you tomorrow on the hot round and on Monday for our recap of the Supreme Flight Open. Catch you later, folks.